This is a tutorial to show how to use Flow within Salesforce to add values like sum, count, max, average to fields in Salesforce. And you might think that you also could create a formula field, a roll-up summary field to have these values. However, you may find some business use cases where you're working with maybe a data service and it doesn't read formula fields, or you might be doing some type of reporting where you need to use fields, and unfortunately you're limited and cannot use those formula fields in certain types of reports. Or you could be relying on a business process, and these values would trigger a process to run. And so therefore, a formula field won't work, and you need the actual data in the field to proceed. So I went ahead and we're in our test environment, and I created sum, count, max, and average for open opportunities. And now in Flow, you can see that I created a record triggered flow, and the trigger is going to be an update or a created or update on the opportunity objects. And I'm going to go ahead and make it a after save flow because we're going to be using the sum of opportunities, which is a related field or a related object. The first element is going to be a get, where we're going to go ahead and get all open opportunity records. I'm going to use the field IsClosed, as the API name IsClosed, equals false, so that will give us everything that's open. And then where the account ID equals the triggering opportunities account ID. I'm going to go ahead and get all records. And just to be efficient, I'm going to choose only the standard ID field and the amount field. If you work in an org that has lots of custom fields on a object, it can really run slowly because it's grabbing everything. In this case, we're going to be really lean and just keep the amount, even though we're in a sandbox and everything runs efficiently. So the first one we're going to come up with is the sum of all open opportunity amounts. So in my source data, I've selected that get all open opportunity. And because it's a collection, you can simply click on the circle and connect it over, and the target data is going to become just that one field. And then you do the aggregate and simply select sum, and the field that we care about is the amount field. The next would be the count. So very similar. We care about the collection, we bring it over, and then you simply select count in the aggregate type. Now for max or min, if that's what you need to do, it's not available in the aggregate type. So again, you might be thinking, oh, I'll use a roll-up summary field, but if you need to use that max to trigger a process, a formula field is not going to work. So you're gonna have to add the value directly into the field. So what we did is added a sort element, and so we're gonna use the get all open opportunities, sort it by amount, descending. So vision a Excel file, and that's all you're doing is putting the largest value record at the top. And then we're going to tell it that the max number of items is 1. So it's technically going to give us a collection back rather than a single variable. It is still a collection variable, even though there's only one record in that collection. And then at this point, Unfortunately, we still have to do a loop. So in this case, we're going to loop that collection variable. And we need to be mindful about where in the flow we do that sort and this loop, because you're basically taking that original get all and you're changing it for the rest of the flow. So if we had other processes, we might want to put this in a different spot in our flow or make it a subflow. But since this is what we're running, and this is the last couple elements in our flow, we're going to be okay. So then we're going to loop, and it's technically going to only run once, right? We're only looping that one item, and you would select the get all collection that we had earlier. And then what I did is I created a variable to store our max open opportunity amount. And I'm just going to make it the current item in the loop amount, right? So think about when you're running that loop, there's two parts of that loop. There's the ID and there's the amount. So we need to be able to assign just the amount to this variable. Then the last part of the flow is going to be updating that account record. So I'm going to select the triggering opportunities account record. And then we're going to go ahead and put in, the value that we got for max into the field, the value for sum, count. And another one we have here is the average. So what I did is I went ahead and created a formula field. So I can create the formula field inside of the flow for the amount, the sum of the amount divided by the count. Both of these fields, well, they're not fields yet. Both of these variables are defined in the flow before we get to the update. So this formula will run, and then the outcome of the formula is going to populate into that field. So this flow is now running, and I believe it's active right now. So what we would do is right in the account, everything's empty. But if I go ahead and I open up one of the opportunities that are related to the account, and I'm just going to click on a field and I'm just going to save it, which will create a update of the opportunity. And then when we go back to the account and we refresh the page, we should see all of our values got updated, and everything looks to be correct.